is the most natural emotion that you feel whenever you go on a long journey, especially to another country, especially to a place you've never been before. You're always going to come away with heartbreak. You're always going to come away with a melancholy feeling. And, that's part of the post-nut clarity of anything monumental that you do in your life. There's obviously going to be some happiness involved, but there's a lot of sadness involved as well. But I think that when you go somewhere, we overrate so many places in the world. Japan is not one of them. Japan is a wonderful place. It's not weeb propaganda. It's an excellent place to go and visit, and I think probably to live there. I lived there for a month. I consider that to have lived someplace. I was there all by myself. I had never done anything like that before, and I immediately recognized so many differences between Japan and America, starting with the people. I think where you go is not defined by the historical landmarks and the buildings, and it's not about the places you go. It's always about the people. The people are the ones that you make the memories with. And 100 years from now, or 500 years from now, kind of like one of the historical sites that I visited, it was partially destroyed during World War II by you-know-who. But that is still standing. They rebuilt part of it, but it's still standing. But the people won't be. The people that I met were so unique, and I'll probably never see them again. Maybe a few of them I'm still in contact with, but most of them I'll never see them again, or it'll be in a completely different era of life. So the people that you meet, those are the ones you make the memories with, and that is the most meaningful connection. Those are the most meaningful connections that I've made, not just to see Shibuya crossing and the neon lights that Japan is famous for, especially in the red light districts. It's a sight to behold, but it's all about the people. I like the kindness, especially of the old people. The old people in Japan are wonderful. Some of the younger people are wonderful too, especially the women. But it's about the people. I discovered that I'm a people person when it comes to people that are, even-tempered, unlike Americans. I get back to America, they're loud, they're obnoxious, they're overweight, and maybe some of that is because I can actually understand what they're saying. Maybe I would find Japanese people to be obnoxious if I knew everything that they were saying and what they were doing. But, I learned a lot of valuable lessons when I was in Japan, starting with take one day at a time. All right, so I want to go through my journey one day at a time, talk about all the cool things I did. Had a lot going on almost every single day, and the only way I can really tell the story is to tell the story. I'm not going to show you. This is about getting into the details of what happened. This isn't about, oh, look at how amazing. You have so many videos on YouTube showing you the lifestyle. I'm here to tell you my unique experience. So the very first day in Japan, or I guess it would be day one, but really day zero, because I didn't get to do anything except, I was on about a 24-hour travel cycle. I was on a 2-hour flight, then a connecting flight, which was a 15-hour flight. It's about 15 hours from where I live in America to Japan. It's brutal. But I had so much. Well, I was actually very scared because of my very stupid itinerary that I had planned out. So I had a lot of things. Never really traveled by myself. Didn't really know how anything was going to go. So I was actually kind of not wanting to go on this trip. But after the first day, I realized, yeah, this was the right decision. I'm happy that I took this opportunity, because very few people in the grand scheme of things get this kind of opportunity. You don't know what's going to happen in the world. So I had a very cheap flight, and I was able to get a round trip for a very good amount. And let me tell you, flying first class is complete bullshit. Don't ever fly first class unless you have a ridiculous amount of money, because, first of all, you don't get there any faster. You don't really get there any more comfortable. Like, I know people will dispute that, but for me, either you can fall asleep on a plane or you can't. And if you can't fall asleep on a plane, You know, you might be able to do that easier in first class, but if you can't fall asleep even in first class, then what's the difference? Because that's really the struggle, is the fatigue that sets in mentally. But I had a wonderful gentleman that I met at the very back of the plane in economy, and I would never have met this guy if I was flying first class, because you're only going to see, I think, I don't know how it works. Maybe you sit next to a person that they designate, but it could have been possible. But I had luck of the draw, and you know, cheap seats, got there the same time as anyone else, and got to spend more money in Japan. But I met this wonderful gentleman who was about 100 years old. I don't know actually how old he was. I didn't even get his name, because I never thought to ask him. We were talking about so many other things. He was an old man that was Japanese. He spoke English. I couldn't really understand everything he was saying, but he said a lot. It wasn't really because of his accent. It was just because of how loud things are on the plane. I couldn't really understand him. He was telling me many things. He had so much energy. He had this wonderful comportment. He was always smiling and looking at me with wide eyes. He was like a little kid, but he was an old man. And I'm just going to shorten it and say one of the most memorable things he said, which I think is so funny and based. He said when he came to America when he was younger, he went to Hawaii. He went to Pearl Harbor. He took a trip to Pearl Harbor, and when he got there, he said there was nothing at Pearl Harbor, and he was wondering why. And then he remembered, it hit him, you know, why there's nothing at Pearl Harbor. I just thought that was hilarious. I mean, I'm pretty sure he said that. I don't know exactly. I mean, the only interpretation is he's talking about World War II. And that's like me going to Hiroshima and saying, where's Hiroshima at? Even though they actually rebuilt Hiroshima. I don't think they rebuilt Pearl Harbor. There's nothing there. But I thought that was really funny. I think he was an incredible person. And I was so tired and fatigued, and I had to get on another plane, so I didn't really get to say goodbye to this guy properly. But he was wonderful. I'll never forget that guy. He helped me out getting through that 15-hour flight. I was really impressed with this dude. He was such an interesting person that set the tone for the entire trip. Wonderful Japanese person. And I never met anyone that interesting again on 8 different planes that I took in Japan. I walked about 200 miles total in Japan, something like that, close to 400,000 steps in about 30 days. And I could have done more, but I'm still feeling it after all of that. It was a lot. I took trains. Not sure how many trains, buses, planes, trains, automobiles, walking. I did a lot on this journey. But he was the most interesting person I met on a plane, and he's one of the people I remember for sure. So when I got to Japan, gotta skip through a lot because it would be an infinitely long video, but it was horrible. My phone was almost dead. I know usually you can charge on the plane, but I couldn't find, I don't think I had the right adapter to charge my phone, so my phone was almost dead. I've been up for like 48 hours, and no idea how the subway system works, even though I've watched videos. No idea really how it works. I had no cash. I didn't have the Suica card. I was able to convert some US dollars into yen. I was able to get 2 tickets. I took the airport train, and got midway to where my hotel was, and then there was this guy, this really nice kid. You know, I don't know how old he was, maybe a little bit younger than me, I don't know. He was a little disheveled, I would say, and he was like, follow me, we will go together. So he showed me what ticket to buy and more or less where to get off at. He was actually wrong. I checked my navigation app, and I found the right stop to get off, but I was on the right train with this guy, so he got me to the train station I needed to get to. And then I was a little confused about, you need to put the ticket in the machine and then go through. I was like, how do I get... I was very confused about how, the subway stations are confusing, even just trying to find the exits. So I had these 2 other guys that were laughing at me, but they're like, follow me, we'll take you to the surface. But we went through like some kind of a 7-Eleven store. We went up through like we took an elevator up to a 7-Eleven store, and then there's like an escalator in the store or some craziness. And then we found the surface, and then in pitch black in the dark in the wintertime, they're pointing me in the direction to go. And I'm speaking broken Japanese, and they're speaking broken English, and that's kind of how the whole journey went for the most part. And then I have to take all, and this is with all my bags. If you're going through the subway with all your bags, like, it's horrible. But anyway, they pointed me in the right direction. I found where to go. I checked into the hotel. I was sweating, been up for 48 hours, thinking, felt terrible. Don't know if they could smell it on me, or they could smell the fear. This little lady, little tiny thing, is taking my bags up to my room. I feel so bad about her. I've been up for 48 hours. My arms are sore. Been taking my bags through the subway because a lot of these you got to carry them. You can't just drag them through the subway. They got these little machines that go off on the escalators if you're trying to. You got to like push the. Well, you know, you can't. But I had to carry my bags that weigh a lot through the subway, and you know, I'm trying to help this woman because I don't want, you know, even though she's supposed to be helping me, I just feel bad for her. And then I got to put my key card in the little slot. I've never done that before. I don't know how these key card machines work. She's telling me to like, oh, you got to push it down. And I've got all these questions, like how can I send my bags to my next hotel? Because I have another hotel in 2 days, which made no sense. I should have just stayed in one spot for the whole trip. And I ended up changing that schedule a little bit so I could stay in Sapporo for more than 2 nights at a time, which was the right choice. And once I made that decision, everything felt so much better. But I couldn't sleep at all, so I was up for more than 48 hours. I finally fell asleep in the morning, up all night. Finally fell asleep for a few hours. I was in my hotel room until middle of the day. So this is on day one. Okay, day one. There's this cleaning lady that comes in. At this hotel, they were actually coming to clean the room every single day, which I appreciate because I like to have clean towels and clean sheets. So they were coming in every day. And there's this really sweet lady. She was just trying, like, the cleaning ladies, they work so diligently. You know, they're professionals. They take it so seriously. And I was kind of interrupting her because I just wanted someone to talk to. So I'm trying to talk to her with Google Translate, and bless her heart, she doesn't really understand how Translate works, I guess. But I'm trying to help her, and then, you know, like she was just such a nice person. And I don't even remember what we were talking about. Basically nothing. I think I was asking her something about how does the air conditioner work. Couldn't figure that out, so she helped me open up a window. It was very hot in my room. Very hot in these hotel rooms, which is what you want during the winter time, but it's very hot in these hotel rooms. But you know, that was one of the first friends that I made in Japan, was just this little cleaning lady, and I don't know if I ever saw her again. I tried to leave a note for whoever was cleaning, like, thank you very much for cleaning my room every day, but it was probably a different person each time. But I was so lonely, I wanted to go home on that very, very first night. I was like, how am I going to survive here? I'm reading like all of the fine print of staying at the hotel. What if I break something? What if there's a rule I don't follow? Because they say Japan is so strict. I don't know what's the case really, but you know, these people are so nice to you. Almost everybody is so nice to you. There are people that, I mean, I go in day by day. I would honestly be here forever. I don't even think I can go day by day because I'm already here for 15 minutes talking about just the first day in Japan. But you know, I'll actually just skip around a little bit and talk a little bit about the most memorable situations I was in and the most memorable people I was involved with. You know, Japan has this reputation for being very strict. I did not notice that. I think if you go out of your way to be an asshole, I'm sure they're going to crack down on you. But I don't think Japan is anywhere near as strict as people say. It is very safe. It is very clean. And they do take that seriously. You don't have to worry about, as I went back to Chicago, I was kind of worried about, am I going to get stabbed here at the airport? You don't have to worry about that in Japan. You can go anywhere. You can walk anywhere. And the least of your concerns is going to be, are you going to get attacked? in a back alley somewhere? Are they going to come out lurking in the shadows and try to take your wallet? Is your wallet going to disappear in the dark? You don't have to worry about those things in Japan. That doesn't even cross your mind. Infinitely safer than American cities, and completely changed my perspective on American cities or living in a city in general, because these cities you can actually live in. They don't shit where they eat. They have the toilets that scorch your ass for you, that have the heated seat that flush automatically in some cases. Japan is an incredible place. The food, better quality food, better ingredients, better portions, like smaller in some cases, but healthier for you and more filling. Just better quality and better standards all around. And the people, they have this reputation for being extremely nice, which is also the case. There's some people that if you, I learned that you have to always shoot your shot. You have to always shoot your shot. If you didn't know that, you go to a foreign country where you don't exactly speak the language, doesn't matter. You still have to interact with these people because they don't really interact with you unless you interact with them. They're not exactly antisocial, but they're not going to interact with foreigners on most occasions unless you go up to them first, which is what I was always doing. So skipping around a lot, I mean, there's a number of things I did on each day. I honestly can't go through each and every day and talk about everything. That would be impossible. I'd have to make multiple videos, which I'm just now realizing. But I want to talk about some of the people I met that I'll never forget, that I, made journal entries for. So, I met a number of people on my first couple of days in Japan. I went to a restaurant and I met this beautiful woman. Actually, my luck, there was 2 women there. I met them on separate days. And I don't know if it's just because I love Japanese women, but they got some of the most beautiful women you'll see in life. And they're just working as waitresses. And you can find that you can probably find that in a number of places, but there's a woman I met, and she was gorgeous, and she was very nice, and people are saying, oh, she's just nice because she's a service worker. Fuck you, okay? You can tell when it's real and when it isn't, or you can tell when it's just an act and when it's not. So I had a lot of delusional people telling me I'm delusional. I'm telling them they're delusional. Fuck you, fuck me. But I had the courage to tell this woman, I chose my words as perfectly as you can choose them. I said, if I don't see you again, I want you to know that you're very cute. Kawaii. I knew I said that in Google Translate. I knew it was, got the message across because I looked at it, said kawaii. We know what kawaii means. And her reaction was better than, any kind of sexual activity. It just, I could see on her face the way she responded to that message. She appreciated it. All right, she appreciated it, and she let me know that. But I never saw her again. I met this person one time. I went back to that restaurant many, many times. I actually had to leave and go to another city. But when I got back there, I went back there every day for like a week. And I never saw her again. Nobody knew who she was. I never saw her again. Maybe she was, like in the movie Ugetsu, maybe she was just a figment of my imagination. I have no idea. Never saw her again. But I thought about that woman. She's someone I'll probably continue to think about every once in a while. It's like that scene from Citizen Kane. You see a beautiful woman maybe only for 1 second. I saw her for more than 1 second. But some people you never forget. Some people you just remember for the rest of your life. And you only see them once. And I don't understand why I didn't see her again. There was another woman that worked there that was also pretty incredible. And I saw her so many times, I got the courage to ask her out. But I really messed up in Google Translate. I knew kind of what to say, but I wasn't confident to say it. So I tried to put in the Google Translate. Google Translate was not going along with me. And then, I don't know, like her response was not good. I mean, she was nice about it, but her response was not good. She did not give me, I didn't expect to get a yes necessarily, but it was not it was not a it was I don't know. I interpreted it as kind of a very painful, like, no. It was a hard no. But I actually don't know if that was because of Google Translate or if it was because of me. Who knows? I'm gonna say 99%. She she didn't really it was just a no. But you have to shoot your shot. And there's plenty of times where I did shoot my shot and you meet some wonderful people. I met some wonderful people. Sometimes it's just asking for directions. I met in the same, well, it wasn't the same day, but in the same city, in the same place, around the same place, I met some incredible people in Sendai when I was in Sendai, which is a very underrated place in Japan. Not that many people. There's still a million people. It's still a big city, but it's very underrated and great if you want to go see the historical sites. I was just asking for directions, and I met these two people. It was a guy and a girl, and then we started talking. And then whenever they find out you're from America, they a lot of them appreciate that. They always ask you, like, what country you're from. I'm obviously from America. I'm not from Canada. I'm not from some other. There are some people that come to Japan and they don't speak any English. And I'm like, how can you come to Japan if you don't speak English or Japanese? They don't really care about you if you're not speaking those two languages. You're either Chinese, and apparently they hate the Chinese coming over. You either are Chinese, you're Japanese, or you speak English. Or in Hokkaido, they have like Russian and maybe some Korean. They have a little bit of Korean too. But you basically speak English or Japanese if you go there. And I speak English, so it should be pretty obvious where I'm from. Although, although I did meet some people that spoke English when you didn't expect that, and I met some people that spoke um, a completely different language when you expected them to speak English. So I suppose it's a valid question, but um, I met this another incredible woman, a businesswoman from Tokyo, and she told me straight to my face, I want to come to America, and I really wanted to say, all right, you coming back with me, but I don't know, like, if I can. I wasn't. I can't really do that at this time. I don't really have. I was like, and plus she was with another dude, so it's kind of like, well, if I was rich, if I had more money, then I would take you on the arc with me. I'd take you on the commissioner's arc and take all the beautiful Japanese women with me and the beautiful Japanese people with me, but I can't really afford that right now. So but she took a picture of me at the little Masamune statue, and I don't think they came out that well, but she said that they were beautiful. So I keep those pictures. I'm always going to keep those pictures because she took those pictures of me. And then, I tried to come home, and I had to walk home in the dark because it got so late when I was there that I could not get the transportation back. And that was fine. I love walking. And I had these two people. They were drawing me a map how to get back, even though I had the navigation app open. Japanese people, they will stop everything that they're doing to help point you in the right direction, even when you're showing them, yeah, I know how to get back. Just wanted to make sure. They gave me a map. They gave me a map, and they were drawing me a map of the city. That they will do that for you. When I got back to the station, this was the next day. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff. I met some other amazing people. I met this old man. I was walking up the mountain to go back to that place with this guy, and we were speaking broken Japanese and English, but we were kind of getting our messages across to each other. And I took a beautiful picture with him, and he told me that I was telling him that I'm an old man. I told him I'm an Ojiisan, and he was like, "No, you're young. I'm an Ojiisan. I'm 64." I was like, "Well, all this walking I'm doing would be an Ojiisan." And then I went to the museum, and this is one of the saddest stories that I feel like I have to tell because this is one of the things you remember. I met this woman at the History Museum. Again, this is in Sendai, so it's all about Masamune and like the late Sengoku period, whatever the period is, right after the Sengoku era. He built that city and he died there. And I was looking at one of the exhibits about like the Italians and the Portuguese and the Spanish, the correspondence between those countries in Japan. And I met this woman and we started talking, and she asked me, why did I come to Sendai? And I said, whatever I said, I don't know, to see, I don't know, to see history or whatever. And she said she was there to see the children's hospital, and she told me why. And she told me something cute, like something about Santa Claus, and she said something like, I think Santa Claus is from America. I think she said that. I don't know. She said something that's, I don't know. It was cute. She was a nice, very nice lady. And she said, she showed me a picture of her son, and she said, I said, how old is your son? And she said, if he was still alive, he'd be this old. I was like, that's really sad. I didn't expect, I was very sorry, Gomenazai. And she was like, no, that's all right. I'm sorry for surprising you. And she said that that's the reason that she said that her son gives her the strength to go on. And I was like, well, that's why you want to help the kids. Yeah, make sure that they do what you can for the other kids at Christmas time. Still thinking about children, obviously. And, Japan, their population's going down, and, that doesn't help. It's terrible. It's terrible. That doesn't help. Just really sad, and those are the people, just these little brief interactions with people, that's real life. And I just remember these little interactions. I remember how kind people are. She trusted me, telling me that story as a complete stranger. And I'm telling the story here just because I want to tell the story. I'm not going to say what her name was. I'll say her first name. Her name was Erica. That's all I'm going to say about it. But it's stuff like that. It wasn't raining that day, but there was some rain coming down my face when I left that place. It was tough, and I still think about it now. And when I got back to the train station, I met these other very nice people. There was a woman. There was two people I was going to ask directions, and one of them I just picked out, and I said, all right, I'm going to go up and I'm going to ask you for directions, and you're gonna have to interact with me. She was kind of turning away from me, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go ask you, and we'll see what happens. And she was trying to help me. She couldn't quite say what she wanted to say. Her husband came along. He could speak pretty good English, and they just took me through the train station. About 15 minutes through the train station, we were having a conversation along the way. We introduced ourselves. Yukiko and Shiichi, I believe his name was. They're very nice to me. They did not have to take me through the train station all the way to my destination. I had a picture of where to go, which really helped. But I was showing him pictures of where I'd been. He said he was from Sapporo. That's where I had just been from a few weeks before. So I'm showing him pictures of what it's like there now. Just so many amazing people and so many amazing little interactions that I had. They don't maybe sound like much, but they meant a lot to me personally. I did so many cool things when I was in Japan. I went to probably my least favorite place, honestly, was Tokyo, but Tokyo's still awesome. When I was in Tokyo, the coolest memory that I had was walking in the dark to Sangenjaya. I went to the place where Persona 5 in real life was inspired. So I saw these little dark alleyways, these little back alleyways where They got these little cafes, and it's so wholesome just walking through the dark and these little alleyways getting lost. And I found what I'm pretty sure is Cafe Leblanc in real life. I found that and took pictures of it. That was a journey on foot. Took me about an hour walking from Nakameguro, where I went to eat at the famous pizza place there, the Seirinken. Great atmosphere there. There was some loud fucking Americans in there. Some fucking music producer bitch was in there and talking with some guy, and they wouldn't stop talking about celebrities and how much they hate their jobs or whatever the fuck. And it's like, you're on vacation. Enjoy what you're doing on your vacation and shut the fuck up because you're drowning out everybody else. Again, maybe that's just because I speak English and I can understand them, but I wanted to kind of get up and slap them across the face. Like, eat your meal. You're not even eating the food that you paid for. Just fucking, soak it in. But I walked from the Seirinken to Sangenjaya in the dark. Stopped along the way, stopped in a little donut shop. You stop in a little corner shop. That was pretty much the whole journey. Going to the low key areas, going to the little restaurants, giving them some business. I bought a donut in this place. The lady was in there alone, working late at night. No one else coming in. She's not seeing a bunch of white people, so I buy a donut. I smile. I pay for the donut. I'm never gonna see her again, but I remember that. I remember the little things. And I'm walking in the dark and I'm eating my donut in the dark. No one's gonna tell me not to eat my donut in the dark. I don't care about the unwritten rules. I'm hungry. It's late at night. I'm kind of sneaking little bites of the donut as I'm walking, and I find my way through the neighborhoods, and I get to Sangenjaya, and then take a few pictures. I leave. I go back to the train station. There's a guy there. I'm always asking people for directions in the train stations. You just have to ask them. You just have to ask them, and most of them are very friendly. And like I said, this guy, he was like, follow me. We get on the train. We're talking on the train. He's asking me. Everybody's telling me to try the beef tongue. I never tried the beef tongue. Sorry, I never tried it. I'm sure it's great if you're into that. I may have gotten, well, I may have gotten the beef tongue in another way or another, but I didn't try the gyutan. I didn't try that when I was there. But this guy was super nice. We were talking about Japan. I was showing him some pictures, and then, he walked me through the train platform to show me the exit. I ended up still getting lost. I didn't pay attention to what he was telling me. And I shook his hand, and I have very sweaty hands a lot of the time, so sorry about that. Never got his name, don't know who he was. Just little things like that. There's so many other stories that I could tell. I went to, and maybe the most exciting thing I did is I went to the jazz festival in Yokohama. Uh, One of the only things I really booked. Everything else was just a journey, an adventure. Didn't know what I was going to get into. I knew where I was going, but I didn't know what was going to happen when I got there. So I took a day trip to Yokohama. I spent pretty much all day at the jazz festival. I got to see the Persona 5. They were a lot better than I wanted to give them credit for, because they're not the official, they're not the Sega sound team. But Lynn was there. Lynn was singing. She was incredible. She looked amazing. Even though they had a number of shows that same week, this was the very final show of a week-long tour that they were doing of Japan. She didn't miss a beat. And the orchestra, the big band, whatever you want to call them, they did really wonderful with their renditions of the songs. And one in particular, I think they did Aria of the Soul. And they had a guy, I believe, on the trumpet, and he was wonderful. But that was a dazzling performances, and that's what I went there to see. We also got to see some other people that were talented, We got to see Nate Smith perform, although I was kind of falling asleep during that performance. And we got to see Herbie Hancock, and Herbie Hancock he was good, but he was going off on some crazy rant about artificial intelligence and how we need to trust AI, we need to be nice to robots and crazy shit like that. And some people were just kind of rolling their eyes at that. But Herbie Hancock was cool. You know, that's a legendary performer. But for me, the Persona 5 band, kind of crazy, kind of wild to see that in real life, to see the singer of Persona 5 in real life. I love Persona 5 so much. I love the music so much, and I was just so happy to be able to do that when I was in Japan at the same time. That was fantastic. And I met a nice lady there that I was sitting next to. I was sitting next to her for hours. And then during the Persona 5 performance, well, I'm just going to say, I, I, I asked her for something, and then I asked her in Google Translate, and she was like, no, I can't read that shit. And she said that in English. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. And it's, I assumed that she was Japanese. I didn't really know. Couldn't really see in the dark. She had like a face mask on. I knew that she was Asian. I didn't know that she was from South Korea. And she was a really nice person. And we had a nice conversation in the middle of the performances. And, would have liked to have seen where that could have gone, but it wasn't realistic and under the circumstances. So I just but I sent her a message after I got home. Wanted her to making sure she got home, got home safe, and on her way back to South Korea. Because she was very tired. I was very tired also. I was kind of falling asleep. And she was telling me how she didn't understand the train system, which is understandable if you've only been there for a day or two and all that. But she told me some things that are really interesting that I remembered throughout the whole time I was there. She said something like, the city has a way of showing you where to go. She said something to that effect. I don't know if that's like a South Korean proverb or what that is, but then that was really cool that she said that. And so that stuck in my mind the whole time. I just remembered that. I remembered her telling me that. And I guess it's true. I don't know. There's so many things to do. It's very much like Persona 5 teaches you. There's so much to do in life. There's so many people you'll meet. You have to always make choices. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? Everything is an opportunity cost. And, you just have to take one day at a time. You have to always shoot your shot with people. You have to always take a risk, because you'll never meet people if you don't go out there to meet people, if you don't start a conversation with them, even if you have to ask for directions when you already know where you're going. You got to come up with something. There's so many other stories I could tell. I don't even care if these stories don't sound interesting. These little tiny things that happen to me, they're so interesting to me. Obviously, I got to see all the things I got to see. I can't go through every single story. And there's plenty of other people that I met. They know who they are. I hope. I hope they remember me as much as I remember them. I got into so many other things. Some of it I can't say on YouTube. But, there are some other wonderful people that I met. And, I wish I could see them again right now. So the post-nut clarity, literally and figuratively, the post-nut clarity of going to Japan, it's definitely one of the world's best countries. It's not just weeb propaganda. It's not just the anime place. So many nice people. So many nice cities, not just Tokyo. I went to Tokyo. I went to Yokohama. Going to Tokyo doesn't say anything because it's so big. But I was in Shinjuku. I was in Shibuya. I was in Asakusa. I was in Akihabara. I was in Ueno. I was in Yokohama. Everywhere in between. I was in Sendai. I was in Sapporo, my favorite place. I was in Hakodate for an evening. I met a nice Canadian family at the airport. I think they were loud and I think they were the loud and obnoxious white people that I saw the night before. But then I saw them the next day, and they were very nice. And so, you just meet so many random strangers, so many brief encounters, people you'll never see again, but you'll remember their faces forever. There's so many people that you'll meet in a place like Japan. I come back to America. I met a couple people at the airport just in that brief time I was at the airport. But these motherfuckers annoy me, especially all of the tourists that come to Japan. People will say, well, you're a tourist as well. Yeah, but I came with balls because I came by myself. I was a solo traveler. I wasn't coming here with all my friends and family just to take pictures, just to fucking take up space. I wasn't loud and obnoxious. I was very respectful. I was trying my best to speak Japanese when I could. I was going up to Japanese people and starting conversations with them. I was trying to meet Japanese people. And most of the tourists, they're not doing that. They're giving tourism a bad name. And this is one of the reasons I think that they don't really fuck with you unless you make yourself known to them. The Japanese people, they're not going to necessarily stop and be your best friend. There was one person who just noticed me and said, "You're Tom Cruise, you're very handsome." And I was like, I didn't even know what he said at first because he was kind of far away. And then I processed it and I was like, oh, thank you. But like, if you don't make the first contact with these people, they're not going to fuck with you like that because they're used to all these people coming there, and they're not that impressed with you like they might have been in a different period of time. But you know, Japan, I think, to me, it left an incredible impression on me. I'm sure there's problems with everywhere, but look at America. Look at America's problems. I come back to America. I got to come back to Chicago. I got to worry about getting stabbed and getting robbed. For example, I left my bags for a split second to go and try to get some food. And I was going to ask some people, can you watch my bags for me? But they were kind of being antisocial, so I was like, all right, whatever. Again, you got to always shoot your shot, but I was like, all right, I'm just going to leave my bags here. I'm going to trust that, there's children around here and stuff. No one's going to come and steal my shit. But I hear on the intercom, I was going to put my bags down and just go get some pizza, which I ended up doing. I got this horrible, well, the pizza wasn't bad, but it was $13 for this little fucking tiny Chicago deep dish bullshit. Another scam. It was an airport food, but still a fucking scam. But the announcer comes on and says, "Don't leave your bags behind, or security will remove the bags." Like, what the fuck? I suppose you're trying to disincentivize theft, but why are Americans like that? Why do you have to worry about someone stealing your shit, especially at an airport? You don't really have to worry about that in Japan at all. The only thing I didn't like about Japan was there's no trash cans anywhere, and it's hard to find a bathroom. There was one day in particular where I went searching for a bathroom, only to find that they had shuttered the bathroom, so I had to go to another bathroom at 19-degree Fahrenheit temperature, by the way. It's, what I don't understand, though, conversely, is how we have trash cans everywhere in America, and people don't even use them. They still litter. They still throw their trash out of the car window. Fucking morons, So America has so many problems, and America is really, it's America and Japan. There's not really anywhere else to even consider living. I don't know where else you would want to live. Europe is, there's nice places here and there, There's nice places here and there, but in totality, when you talk about the standard of living and the people that you'll meet, the quality of the food, the quality of the environment, Japan is well, far and away from every other country except America. It's America and Japan. There's nowhere else that you'd even really consider, but to be in Japan, you got to speak Japanese, and you have to go there with the right mindset, which I did. But I got to learn some more Japanese before I go back there, because I want to go back. And I went there hoping to repopulate, because their population's going down. And that's not a joke. Their population's going down. And I saw a lot of children there. I saw a lot of people with their babies there. And it's tough. It's tough seeing that. It's tough seeing that because as you get older, like I said, I told Erica, the older I get, I'd like to start a family, and I didn't know she was going to hit me with her situation, which was really sad. So I felt really bad about that. But birth rates are declining all over the world, except in the places where they don't really, except for the places where they already have a lot of people. But Japan, birth rates are declining. It's really bad, and there's a number of reasons for that. But it comes back down. Like I said, this is a real, mature topic. The people are important. What is Japan going to look like 50 years from now, 100 years from now? What is any place on earth going to look like? I don't know. But what's it going to look like when they start losing more people? All right, the monuments might still be there, the cities might still be there, but the most important thing is really the people. And I used to think differently when I was younger, but now I think it's the people. It depends on where you go, because you can go to amazing cities in America, but the people aren't that great. The people, they've got whatever mental problems they have. You go to near where I live in Charlotte, you get stabbed on the subway by a maniac. Okay, it could happen other places, but you have so many mental patients in America. It's such a violent country, and so the people matter. It doesn't matter what city you got. Los Angeles used to be a wonderful city, but look at the people there and look at the policies there. So where you go matters, and the people you find there matter the most. The people you find anywhere you go matter the most. And I don't just think Japan's a beautiful country in terms of the temples and the islands and all that. It's the people. The people are really wonderful. So Japan was pretty much what I expected it to be. It was what I hoped it would be, even though I was only there for 30 days. But I had a wonderful time. And, I told a special someone that I met there. She asked me, why did I go to Japan? I said it was because of the video games. I've been playing Japanese games my whole life. Some people have never played Japanese games, or they've only played like Mario or some Nintendo shit. So much of my life has been, you know, playing video games. Japanese people, they make the best video games, and they make pretty much the best of everything else. So Japan, it's not weeb propaganda. It is a wonderful place, and I will go back there again whenever the time is right. It's a wonderful place, and I hope that those people take care of themselves. We got to take care of Japan, as Japan is taking care of so many of us.